right, friends, thanks for joining us. Do us all a favor. Smash that subscribe button. It really helps the channel grow, helps get the word out. We can't thank you all enough for the growth of the channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Benny, where can they find us on social media?
Forgot what it was, eh? Yeah, you can you can find us at Ray Benny Sports. We're on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Check us out also on Discord and Reddit, and leave us a rating on your favorite podcast provider.
Air's a little different here in Edmonton.
Yeah, it's different.
I know
good air,
Canada Inns
bad
is
air.
behind me, but I can look out my back window and Commonwealth is like, I can see it.
You should have the camera on the window just with Commonwealth in the background for this one.
Yeah, I should have.
Next time.
Well. I can't figure that tech stuff out. I'll mess it up somehow, and I don't know, any which way. Let's get going. We got Bomber talk, we got Jets talk, we got our quick shots. But let's start with the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And Bomber talk brought to you by Fahrenheit Airbrushing. Stand out on the ice, pavement, or the field, or in the stands with a custom airbrushed helmet, goalie mask, or project. A local Manitoba business with affordable solutions for any project. Check out Fahrenheit Airbrushing on Facebook or call them at 204-891-7431.
And don't forget, tell them Ray and Benny sent ya.
Let's get into it because there's real business this week. Ooh. After the loss to the Montreal Owls, are we seeing the decline of the Blue Bombers? We've heard this talk in the media. There's been articles written about it. What are your thoughts?
I think it's too early to definitively say, yes, we're seeing the decline of the Bombers. So I'm going to say no right now and see how this goes. I need to see more out of the Bombers. One bad game out of the gate. As mad as I was watching that game and the concerns I have after watching that game, I'm still going to believe in this Bomber team that they're going to right this ship and get things done properly.
Yeah, the easy answer is yes. It's father time, Mother Nature being undefeated. But for me, the decline doesn't mean that they're not going to be competitive or that they won't have a chance to win the chip. But I'm going to refer to something I said early in the season, maybe a couple of weeks ago. I still don't believe they got better as a team roster-wise in the offseason. And you know what they say? If you're not getting better, you're not. If you're not getting better, you're getting worse. There's no staying the same. So I'm a little concerned about that, but I'm still going to say no in regards to a decline. I think they took chances with less reps, less snaps in training camp and preseason, and the rust definitely showed in game one, and it hurt them coming out of the gate. But I think they're a veteran-laden roster. They'll round into form. They might have to go on the road and win playoff games on the road, maybe both of them, but I still think they will be in the big game in BC come the end of the year. So natural decline, maybe. As a team in success, no.
Yeah, I mean, tough start too. You're playing against Montreal. You're playing against the Grey Cup champions. As much as we don't want to think that Montreal was a good team and the Bombers kind of lost that Grey Cup, Montreal's a good team, and that D is really good. And that D came flying out of the gates, and they had something else to prove to the Bombers that hey, we're a very good defensive team, and you're going to have a hard time scoring, and the Bombers did. Right. I mean,
yeah.
Besides that early field goal, that was started because of an interception by Brian Cole. So it got the Bombers into field goal range. Collaros misses Kenny Lawler wide open in the end zone, overthrows it. There's other opportunities. Collaros throws it short for Dalton Schoen in the end zone, and it's intercepted. So there's just a lot of mistakes, and most of them were on defense, most of them on offense, and then the special teams, right? Yep. The special teams was not good to me either. The fumble by Myron Mitchell. I know, first game out of the gate, but come on, man, you can't be making mistakes. I don't care if you get 5 yards a return, but do not turn that ball over. And then the Bombers D started in tough field position a couple times.
Yeah. We talk about some players. Let's examine the depth chart. Any eye openers going into the game? Of course, you're missing your number one running back and your number one wide receiver. It's not optimal, especially coming off a loss when the offense looked so totally lost. So I think that's an eye opener for me. Like receiver wise, they definitely have the depth. Schoen can take on the wide receiver one load, no problem. Dembski's still solid. Wolodarski looked even better this year in that first game. And we're hearing some great things from fans about Wheatfall during the practice week. And he doesn't have to come in and be gangbusters. He doesn't have to be Lawler's replacement. That's Schoen's job, if it's anyone's job. So it's a concern, but they do have the ability to perhaps weather the storm. It'll be tough without Oliveira, though.
Yeah, and what's the injury with Oliveira, man? I mean, he's been hurt all at training camp. He did not look good playing in last week's game as well. Like, I mean, the whole offense as a whole looked terrible. So, yeah, missing him is going to be tough. Hopefully, Johnny Augustine can come in. I know he provided a bit of a spark on that last drive and ending up with the touchdown against Montreal there. So hopefully he can carry that over and bring that excitement, because now this is his chance. It's next man up, right? And Augustine's got to step up and do that. So for me, yeah, it's the same thing. Oliveira's out. The big thing is Big Hill. Adam Big Hill is back. So he's taking back over that middle linebacker spot. So we'll bring a little bit more of a veteran voice to that D, which then allows Kyrie Wilson to go back to his regular spot. So the D, to me at least, is for the most part is whole at this point. So now let's see what they can do, and if Celis and Haba could build off last week, and Willie Jefferson can cause some disruptions there.
So what do the Bombers have to do to beat Ottawa, you think? What's one thing to start off with?
Just looking at Ottawa's D, it's fairly young. Like, they have a couple guys that are quite a few guys that are only in their second year here. So I think the Bomber offense obviously needs to wake up. They need to get on the same page. Collaros needs to complete those passes, especially the short ones. Like, he was tossing stuff into the dirt last week. Like, fine, the long balls and all that weren't working, but you were missing the 10-yard outs and all that kind of stuff. So stuff that he is usually pretty good at. So the offense is going to have to step it up. The O-line is going to have to face that D-line of Ottawa, and the O-line of the Bombers played a pretty strong game against Montreal, only allowing 2 sacks, I believe, right? And Claros had time. He wasn't on the run a lot or anything like that. So the offense got to get it going. Dalton Schoen's got to step up. Dembski's got to step up. And the Bombers, they need to prove that, hey, Father Time is not taking over here.
Yeah, that's the thing with Collaros. He got to shake off the rust and show it's rust, and not Father Time knocking on the door. One game, the first game of the season, is too far of a sample size to say he's getting old, especially after the last few years, the fact that he made the Grey Cup 4 years in a row. People will say, yeah, he didn't perform well in the Grey Cup. Well, the whole team didn't. So I'm going to put the whole thing on Zach Collaros. They have to use, and y'all on offense, still talking about offense. You heard me say this in week 1. You heard me say this many weeks. You smiling because you know. I don't understand why the Bombers don't use the heavy set tight end formation as a regular formation. And I'm sure if Benny's not getting sick of it, some of y'all are getting sick of me saying it, but it's true. It's effective. We've seen it work. When you have that extra lineman in there, you're 6 strong, you can run face to face on that defense and tire them down. And it adds more lanes for the running back to go through. And if they want to focus on the run, have that triple set receiver where you have Dembski, Wolitarsky, and Schoen playing on one side of the field. What is the defense going to do? Bring extra men on that side, and they're going to leave Oliveira or Augustine open in the flats for a run and an extra blocker? It's hard to defend against. So it's just mind-boggling that Buck Pierce or whoever makes those decisions isn't using this as a feeding this down people's throats. And I'm not a football genius. I've never been a coach before, but I've just seen that formation work. And it's frustrating that the Bombers aren't using it because they could just demolish the opposition's D-lines with it. And that puts more pressure on the linebackers. And then you want your defensive backs to tackle these running backs coming downfield. It's hard to defend, and I don't understand why they don't use it. So please use the heavy tight end set on offense.
Yeah, and you got, like I said, Ottawa's a young D. They're still kind of learning things and moving. So yeah, it'd be a good D to attack like that, because to me, Ottawa's offense, I think Ottawa's offense, besides the running back position, actually looks pretty good. If Drew Brown lives up to the hype of Drew Brown coming in, right? Because they got Dominic Rhymes, Acklin, wide receiver, and Hardy as well, right? So there's 3 guys right there. Running back, Raquel Armstead, sorry, who's a game time decision. He was the name sounded familiar. I had to go look it up. 5th round pick of the Jacksonville Jaguars. So we'll see if he plays, but otherwise he's a first-year CFL guy. The third stringer, the second stringer is Devontae Deadman, who's usually the returner as well. So he's the backup. And then their third string is also a first-year guy in Amikar Polk. So there's a lot of inexperience there at the running back position in terms of CFL play. So the Bombers got to attack that. They got the D line for the Bombers has to get after Drew Brown. They have to rattle them. They have to throw him off this game. And I expect a good game coming out of his defense. I like the defense. They got burnt a few times against Montreal, but for the most part, they played a pretty good game. So I like Jordan Younger's D to start.
You mentioned Drew Brown, and we can't ignore the fact that Drew Brown has been with the Bombers for the past 2 years. He knows these offensive formations very well. He knows the tendencies of many of the players. He knows what the defensive schemes are. Even though Jordan Younger is a new defensive coordinator, he basically knows the schemes and the formations of what they look like, and he can see what's coming. He knows those other players on the defense. He knows their tendencies as a practice player. So that can't be ignored. They got to
Yeah.
bring some new stuff, and that's hard early on the year as well. So they definitely got to create some pressure on Drew Brown, get in the Red Blacks' face. Don't let him get in any kind of rhythm or confidence, because he could be dangerous, more dangerous than Dustin Crum, who they lost to last year.
Yeah.
And the defense has to continue to be good against the run. The Bombers
Yes.
are one of the best stout running defenses, and I know it was mentioned. You mentioned that they're a little. You were concerned about their defense, but it was only a couple games last year. In regards to the whole scope of an 18-game season, they were very good against the run, and they have to continue to be good against the run in Ottawa.
Yeah, and they were good last week against the run against Montreal. Montreal couldn't
Yeah.
get it going either there, right? So yeah,
What else do they got to
defensively.
do? Sorry.
Yeah, defensively, I'm not too concerned. I wasn't, I didn't wasn't hating on the game, but the flea flicker
No.
sucked, obviously, and a couple of long balls. But other than that, I thought they played well. Special teams. I mentioned the guy Devontae Deadman. He's a good returner, so Ottawa's got the upper hand there. Whereas we got Myron Mitchell, who's only making his second start. So we'll see what they can do. And then we had the controversy last week of the chip ball. So Sergio Castillo really needs to get back on his game this week, because we can't afford missing those field goals, chip ball or not. Because Lewis Ward for Ottawa is going to probably hit whatever he needs to hit.
Yeah, chip ball or not, it boggles my mind that you have 10 or 11 out of 12, 10 out of 11 kickers vote against using this chip ball. You also saw another professional league get rid of the chip balls after 2 weeks of decreased performance. So why would you even use them in the first place? Why?
Because it's the CFL, man. It's the CFL
You
who
need those
think,
genius sports.
yeah,
And hey, props. They look great when you can see the ball move in the distance and the net yards. It looked good when it was happening. But when it affects the integrity of the game on the field, get rid of it. It should have never been a thing. In regards to special teams, yes, they definitely got to get those field goals, because that's a momentum killer. It makes
yeah.
the Montreal defense more confident. It gets the Montreal offense out there. It puts less confidence in the Bomber offense that they can't score on a drive and finish it off. So they do got to get those. And their punt coverage, like your boy, James Letcher Jr., he averaged 21 yards per return, along with 37. They can't be giving other teams an extra 16 to 20 yards off a punt. They got to get that better.
Well, yeah, and like, okay, you let Boudreaux go. You got Mike Miller and our rookie coach. Again, one game only, so let's see what he can do in the next one. But he's in a tough situation because the special teams wasn't good last year either.
Yeah.
At least for Younger, the defense was good last year. And I guess it's pressure to fill those shoes. But for Miller, it's like, I'm taking over at special teams that wasn't very good last year. We now lost our best returner in Janarian Grant completely. So it's in a tough position. But a lot of their problems last year was tackling, right? And again, this year they let Letcher get through a couple times and gave Montreal some good field position. So we're
Yeah.
gonna need to see a big turnaround all around here for this Bomber team. Coach O'Shea's coaching decisions weren't totally the greatest last game as well. And like you say, maybe the rust of not playing anyone or that starting offense really in the preseason at all, started to show a bit there. So
Yeah.
it was a tough game last week, especially at home. You got all those rabid fans ready to go, but the Bombers kind of dropped the ball. So we'll see if they can step up here in Ottawa tomorrow and take this game.
Yeah, after the intros, Montreal took that crowd out of the game pretty good. There are a
Yeah,
couple patches of loudness, but not the regular season opener.
no, I mean, well, the interception was huge by Cole, and then the field goal, and then it's like nothing. How many 3-and-outs were the Bombers' offense, right?
Too much.
Like their only first downs were Streveler kind of sneaking for those third and shorts or whatever, and it's like,
Yep.
come on, man, there was nothing there to get us going, and then Montreal scored off that fumbled punt, right? So, and
Not
then they
everything
never
was
looked back.
bad on special teams. Want to give a bit of love to Jamison Sheehan. 43.5 yards per punt. I don't know what the gross was, but it's not that good if they were averaging about 20 yards per punt. So he's probably dropped down to 23, 25 yards gross, but one for 51 yards. They just need to cover him better. Like, it's easy to say that Sheehan is definitely one of the most valuable international players in the league.
Oh yeah,
He's
and it's
rounding into
funny.
form.
The funny thing is his punting has been good, right?
Yeah.
And the last two seasons, the Bombers have had trouble covering the punt returns.
Got one inside the 10-yard line. Just come on, get down there and cover. Let's go through this one. What do you learn? What did you learn from each team in week one? We're going to go from east to west. Start with the Toronto Argos. Kadeem Carey still got it for now. Dude put over 100 yards in his Argos debut. If healthy, he can be a big factor in the offense moving forward. So that's what I learned from Toronto.
Yeah, if healthy, that's a big thing for that guy, right? He can be dominant, but he's got to stay healthy. Uh, wow, I mean, they didn't miss a beat with Cameron Dukes there at all, that Toronto team. But that D, especially that D line, they look ferocious. Holy, they got after Vernon Adams and sacked him 5 times, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, or 6 times.
They're gonna lose Vernon Adams quick if they can't block in BC either.
Yeah, killed that run game from BC too. So William Stanback didn't make a difference there so far. So yeah, great start from that Toronto D.
What do you got for Hamilton?
Wow, you know what? Bo Levi actually didn't look too bad, but James Butler to me, wow, did he have himself a game? And you know what? I think they need to rely on him more. And I know they were behind in his game, so it was tougher, but I think James Butler needs to be the focal point if they can keep them going. The guy had over 100 yards rushing, 9.2 yards per carry. So yeah, make him the focal point.
And he'll open up things for Tim White.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I have. Like, James Butler is possibly more valuable than Brady Oliveira is to the Winnipeg offense, to the Hamilton offense. You know, James Butler is more valuable to the Hamilton offense than Brady Oliveira is to the Winnipeg offense. Not that he's a better player, not that he's more he is more valuable actually to Hamilton, because they don't know what they're going to get out of Bo Levi Mitchell.
Yeah, and you really only got Tim White as a receiver. I can't think of anyone else really there right now as a receiver. So yeah.
Yeah, Bombers have more depth on the offensive side of the ball, so definitely I'd say James Butler is more valuable to his team.
Well, we're gonna learn this weekend or tomorrow if Augustine can carry the load for Oliveira, or if Oliveira is more important than that.
We'll see. We'll see. Montreal Owls, they confirmed what I believe. They should have been considered the favorite to win the Grey Cup, not the Bombers. And Jason Maas is a better coach than most folks give him credit for. Just like his defensive coordinator is often forgotten. Just great coaching, I think. Oh, they're rounding into form. Great coaching.
Yeah, I'm one of those guys that never really give Jason Maas credit, especially early last season kind of thing. But yeah, he's grown on me, and he's starting to be really good. And speaking of that D, Noel Thorpe, that D is going to be really good again this year. I know they lost Reggie Stubblefield to ACL or Achilles, I can't remember now, but he's gone for the year. So that'll hurt them a little bit, but that D is going to carry this team again and give the offense opportunities to score and win games.
Big chunk plays too. Montreal's a possibility of getting Phil Pott too. Whew. Most valuable Canadian at least seems so.
Yeah, Austin Mack. Who? I mean, they didn't even miss the guy.
Who?
Phil Pott there. Austin Mack.
Who?
Exactly.
Took you a second there. He's like, man, he's gonna keep going if I don't answer this one. Let's move on to the BC Lions. They are still ineffective at running the ball. I don't understand. I don't think it's Stanback's fault. You give the guy less than 15 touches a game. Use the run, or Vernon Adams will be injured within the month.
Yeah, and I'm going the same spot. Really, it's the O-line. The O-line was terrible. 6 sacks against and only 35 yards on the ground and only 11 carries total, right? So that's what are you doing? You brought this guy in to get this running game going because you're going to need it. You can't be one-dimensional in the CFL and think you're going to win, because once the playoffs come and it's cold, the ground's hard, and it makes it a little bit harder out there, you need that running back to go.
What do you got for the Stamps?
Where are the Stamps?
In Calgary.
They are. Jake Mayer. Wow. Maybe he's not done yet. Maybe we buried him way too soon. But
I may have been wrong.
Well, I don't know, because he started off decent last year too, I believe. So, but yeah, really good game for him. Couple touchdowns, no interceptions. Nice clean game.
21 out of 26.
Yeah.
They may also have a deadly secondary.
Yeah, DeMario Houston with the pick, eh?
Ooh, boy. Edmonton Elks. Chris Jones and Jarius Jackson did not take 1 second in the offseason to implement a Trey Ford package. He didn't throw the ball once. He didn't run the ball once. That's unbelievably stupid. When you have a talent like that and he's Canadian and he's such an athlete and you don't use him once, stupid.
It was funny because he mentioned it because the Bombers had Kolaros and Strebler on the field at the same time, and Strebler ended up running the ball. Why wouldn't you have some kind of package like that maybe for Ford? But to me, it's right now after that game, it's the same old Elks with Chris Jones at the helm. I mean, you're winning another game against Saskatchewan, and you blow another game against Saskatchewan. Plus, on top of it, you're still committing penalties like crazy for over 100 yards and the turnover. So yeah, that's the same old Elks to start this season that ended last season.
What do you got for Saskatchewan? Oh, same old Elks. Yeah, sad.
Good comeback win. Good for Corey Mace. But again, they're still taking tons of penalties. Like that hasn't changed. We used to blame Craig Dickinson for the penalties and the lack of composure. And they took 6 penalties, 88 yards, and one of them ended up being Logan Furland punching the linebacker from the Elks and getting kicked out of the game. So yeah, right now they have to get that under control because it's the same old as well with them and their penalties that are going to end up hurting them when they play a better team.
Yeah. Yeah. Corey Mays is such a passionate coach too.
Oh yeah,
like he's like a Dan Campbell.
Yeah, on that fumble return for a touch. They returned for a touchdown, right? Or McLeod Bethel Thompson about. Fumbled. Yeah, so he was just giving up. Yeah,
they may have Saskatchewan. They might have most of them. They might have the most dangerous air attack in the league. Trevor Harris played a couple games last season, one of them against the Bombers, and he put a lot of yards up, and they scored a lot, and they did it again. So they might have the most dangerous air attack in the league. CFL fans, Bomber fans, put your comments in the comment section below. Winnipeg Jets. We're still going to piggyback off Murat Atesh and his article / poll for Jets fans a couple weeks ago in The Athletic. Name your Winnipeg Jet MVP from last season.
This might be the same anyways. I'm going to give it to Connor Hellebuyck. Wicked season, William Jennings Trophy, probably winning the Vezina Trophy. I know he's getting lots of shit for the playoffs and what happened there, but the guy helped carry this team to a 4th place finish in the NHL and played solid. I mean, they were under 200 goals as a team defensively, which is crazy for the Winnipeg Jets.
Who's giving him lots of shit for the playoffs?
There's a lot of people who blame him for what happened in the playoffs and for losing them.
Twitterverse, if you're blaming him for what happened in the playoffs, you do not know what's going on. Guaranteed. Hellebuyck on this one. I don't even need to quote any stats on this one. Hellebuyck. Who was Winnipeg's biggest breakout performer? I'm going to go with Dylan Sandberg. He played 50 more games this year, only missed 4 regular season games, more than doubled his points, did not score a goal, was a force physically. He's probably going to be a top 4 defenseman within the next couple of years. So I really like Dylan Sandberg, although a little expected, but still breakout.
Yeah, I'm going to have to give it to Sandberg as well. Perfetti, if he would have continued on his ways, could have definitely been in this conversation. And he's kind of is there, but he tapered off, got benched. But yeah, Dylan Sandberg took the next step to hopefully solidifying himself in that top 4 of the Jets. I know he played a lot of third pairing minutes kind of thing. But yeah, he needs to take that next step, and hopefully they'll give that to him next year and play in the top 4.
I hope so. Who was Winnipeg's most pleasant surprise?
I'm going to give it to Gabe Vilardi because he showed quite a bit that the Jets needed him. Because when he was out, the Jets were losing a lot. When he was in that lineup, and unfortunately it wasn't a lot of the times, he really helped solidify that top 6. The power play really needed him. And unfortunately, because of the injuries, it didn't gel enough, and it could have been a lot better for him because he only played just under 50 games or something like that, right? So
47.
Yeah, so I'll give it to Gabe Vilardi.
That's the thing. He was expected to be such a good player, and he was when he played, but that was the knock on him in that trade was his injury history, especially with his back. Pleasant surprise. A lot of people are going to poop on me for this one, but I'm going to say Logan Stanley, especially come the end of the year. I think he kind of found his role as a physical player. Has he mastered it yet? No, but I think he's found his role as a number 6 and number 7. I think it's worth keeping around for RFA. If he wants more money, then he can go as a UFA. Now, you're not going to hurt the team when you bring him back as an RFA. Give him another year to develop, maybe another year for him to physically develop as a 6-7. And if he doesn't like that role, then he can leave as a UFA. But I think he definitely took a step forward that I didn't see coming come the end of the year.
Yeah, he definitely played better. And I was pleasantly surprised by him too, I guess, for the way he played. Unfortunately, in the playoffs, it wasn't good, but I don't think any other team, like the Jets, yeah, exactly. The Jets paid him $1 million last year. Probably end up doing the same, but after that, I don't think anyone's gonna end up giving this guy more than $1 million to come in and be their 6th or 7th defenseman, right? So,
yeah. Oh, I think some teams will definitely give him $1 million. Yeah.
The
Who was
thing that you
Winnipeg's?
mentioned, though, hold on. The thing that you mentioned is the physicality of it all, right? If that
Mhm.
guy can bring that all the time, that would, and that's what they need from him. It's not necessarily, hey, I'm going to be the best defenseman on this team, but I need to be
No,
that physical guy, the best physical guy, because I'm so big on this team and play that role. That say if they lose Dylan, Stanley needs to then step up and be that Dylan guy where
yeah,
he's going to be physical in front of the net, but he does not do that all the time, and I think that's the biggest knock on the guy.
they will lose Dylan.
Yeah.
They will lose him. Who was Winnipeg's biggest underachiever? I can say Cole Perfetti. He just had an inconsistent season. Um, yeah, I think many expected a lot more, and it's not just him about getting more ice time. He had these chunks of time where he 26 game streaks where he just scored one goal, and 15 game streaks where there was like nothing and he was -6 on the ice. The upside is there, and they're definitely going to keep him around. Uh, yeah, I don't want to see him leave, but underachievement in regards to inconsistency.
Yeah, growing pains, hopefully, and hopefully next year he'll take that next step. Scott Arneal's been talking him up a bit, so
Yeah,
hopefully that's a good sign, right? And he's an RFA as well, so he's gonna need to be signing to a deal. I'm gonna go with Neil Pionk because this dude was a disaster for the amount of money that he is making. Uh, to be that top four guy, like it was just like, what are you doing half the time?
yeah,
Him scoring on our net in that Colorado series too is just like, dude, what are you doing? Yeah, you're a veteran guy. You're just getting
yeah.
worse as we go here. So yeah, I'm gonna give it to Neil Pionk.
Top 4 guy, top 2 guy most of the year.
Yeah, it's time to maybe move him down, but we'll see
Oh,
what this buyout process ends up bringing for the Jets.
Jets fans, put your comments in the comment section below. Who do you think should be bought out? Y'all heard me. I think Pionk and Schmidt should be bought out. Schmidt more for
I agree.
money, thinks he's a great locker room presence, but Pionk just for because what everything you just said.
Yeah.
Let's move on to quick shots. Will the Oilers come back from 0-2?
No, but I don't think they'll get swept. But I don't think they have enough horses to compete with Florida. Who, yes, Edmonton's probably got more talent with Draisaitl and McDavid, but Florida is just deep from top to bottom everywhere. So no.
No. Panthers are dialed in and they're suffocating the Oilers.
And
I
goalie
think it'll go
Bob,
6,
holy.
but Panthers still take it.
Yeah, I could see
Should
Edmonton
Draisaitl
taking one for sure.
Good. Should Draisaitl have been suspended? Yes. Elbow to the head. It's playoff time. I hate that excuse. Suspend him. Get him out of there. He left his feet to hit a guy in the head with his elbow.
I'm gonna say no, but he should definitely have been fined. But yeah, I don't like the hit, and it's not needed, especially a guy. Hopefully, Barkov can play tomorrow night, but they're probably not suspending it just as Draisaitl. If it was Kane, they probably would have suspended him.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. What's the score in the Mavericks game?
106-99 Boston final.
Will Mavericks come back from 0-3? No.
No, my answer was no anyways at 0-2, so
Porzingis wasn't even 100%. Remember when I said if Porzingis is good, that's the only chance Boston had? He wasn't even good and they couldn't win. So
he didn't even play tonight.
See? There you go.
So,
Who will win Euro 2024? I'm going to take the statistical favorite and go with France. I'm also a huge fan of Kylian Mbappe, currently ranked 2nd in the world. Great combination of youth and experience, and people can't score on them. Killed in qualifying round until the last game when they played like 3rd stringers.
they just tied Canada, or Canada just tied them. Good sign or bad sign?
Oh, I'm not buying into that for none of them.
I'm gonna.
Mbappe playing?
He came in later. Like he didn't start, or he came in for maybe 10 minutes, and he had a glorious chance to score 2, and he got stopped.
Of course he did. That's cute.
Yeah. Do I have to pick Italy? You know,
You have to pick who you want.
An Italian guy. You know, as much as I'm not gonna. I don't think Italy's gonna do it this time, but I didn't think they were gonna do it last time, so you never know. I'm gonna go with Netherlands. They're gonna finally break this slump. They look good playing against Canada again. I know it's just Canada, but they look good playing against them. So I'm gonna pick Netherlands to break their cupless time, however long it's been.
We're just talking about the Netherlands. How about Georgia?
That'd be a shocker. You're gonna put $5 on Georgia to win it. How much would that get you?
Put $100 on Georgia. Make it worth the time. Hey, you want to split it? $50?
No, that's not.
Want to commit on the line.
That's not $50 well spent.
Can I give a big middle finger to those two racist fools who are yelling things at Vinicius, who got 8-month prison sentences? I love that. F you, shove it up your whatever. You got what you deserve, except it should have been a lifetime ban from the stadiums. What is a 2-year ban from the stadium once the prison, once a judicial system has given 8 months in jail? What do you need them back in the stadium for?
Yeah, there should be a lifetime ban for sure. No need to even allow them back in at all.
Like, get one win, give one win back.
Yeah, exactly.
But judicial system, way to put them in jail. They'll probably serve 1 week and go do community service, but that's okay.
But hopefully it puts some thoughts in people's heads to freaking stop doing this shit and to think about it. Because, hey, this is what the next sentence could be worse, right? And you could spend more time in it. So just like, fuck it. Just be a good person, really. You know, it's not that hard.
Yeah. Don't be ignorant. Yeah. Don't be a mouth breather.
Yeah.
I don't know. It ain't hard.
It ain't.
Benny, you got anything to say to our non-mouth breathing friends?
You know what? Thanks a lot for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, follow, and let's hope for a better game from the Bombers tomorrow.
In the words of Ed Whalen, in the meantime, in between time, that's it. Another edition of Ray and Benny Talk Sports. Why did I do this? We're side by side. Oh, it's because we Zoom now.
Who you point to, huh?
God.
Hey, friends and neighbors, don't forget to check us out online on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter at Ray Benny Sports. And don't forget to check out our YouTube channel. Leave a like, leave a comment, tell us what you think.